Hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here, and we are back to business in Swordland with President Anton Rayne. Last episode, we had a pretty interesting meeting of world leaders with the APO, or the ATO, whichever one it is. Accusations were flying. A lot of shit came out about Rumberg, and needless to say, world tensions are at an all-time high. So we are going to start the episode here with a private meeting with David Wisci. He is our foreign minister. So let's see what he has to say about things. David had scheduled a private meeting with me, but he didn't specify what it was all about. I heard a knock at the door. Mr. President, may I come in? Yes, David, come in. Thank you. He slowly made his way towards the chair in front of my desk and sat down. First of all, thank you for your time. Don't mention it. What's wrong? What do you think? I wanted to ask you how you are doing. I'm fine, thanks for asking. The other one option seemed kind of whiny. Please be sure to take some time for yourself amid all this. Good advice. If you ignore the mental fatigue, it will slowly creep in on you. It will poison your thoughts. Thank you for your valuable advice. Thank you for taking my advice over the years. He started coughing. Uh-oh. What a privilege for me. I had the chance to watch my student grow into a fine and strong leader in my lifetime. What a privilege indeed. You tried your best to bring reform to Swordland. That is valiant in itself. It's okay to feel frustrated by failure, but change, unfortunately, doesn't happen easy. You paved a way for future generations to follow. They will remember you for it. I will do whatever I can to leave a good world for the ones who will come after us. That's the spirit. We can't be sulking about our failures for too long, otherwise we will spiral into despair. This country does not need any more despair. He coughed again, this time for longer. I overheard a conversation the other day near a newspaper stand. It piqued my interest, so I kept listening. They were talking about you. They were calling you a radical centrist. What do you think about that? I guess I could be considered a centrist, seeing all the times I didn't take a stand. I've got the achievement centrist. Good for me. My father, Arthur Wisci, used to say, always know yourself. It's good to know that you can... Well, try that again. It's good to know that you do. So the elections are fast approaching. How are you feeling about your chances? Can't say for sure, but I'm hopeful. Good, that's what a leader should say. I'm afraid I have an announcement to make to you. Go on. After the term is done, I will be retiring. I can't replace you in my cabinet. I have been in this line of work for many decades now. I swore an oath to myself years ago. I would quit if I ever felt like I didn't have the physical capacity to serve anymore. At that point, I would become a hindrance. That time has come, Mr. President. My bones are aching, my hands are shaking, my voice is failing. Why am I getting visions of Monty Python here? Besides, I'm sure you can find a younger minister who is a little more full of life. He winked at me and chuckled, which turned into another cough. You have been a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. Thank you for your service to this country. It was an honor, Mr. President. David stood up to leave. I'll give him a big hug. Bro hug. Best of luck, Anton. Thank you. Well, you're not done with your job yet, dude. Still got a possible war coming on here. Alright, let's scan around. We've got Agnolia. Agnolia puts forward bid to join ATO. There we go, ATO. The Republic of Agnolia officially put forward a bid to join ATO. It's likely they will be entering the Arcasian sphere, as President Walker has tentatively accepted their bid to gain more foothold against CSP. Okay. we got the endorsement of Marcel Caranti. Swordish media mogul and businessman Marcel Caranti has officially endorsed us to be the next president of Sordland. With Mr. Caranti's wide-ranging connections and new media power, we can expect more votes in the upcoming election. That's good. Wow, look at all this. Existence of nuclear weapons in Rumburg confirmed. AN intelligence has confirmed that the information from the Rumburgian whistleblower was true. Rumburg does have nuclear weapons capable of threatening Swordland and Eastern Merkopa. The Alliance of Nations ratified a barrage of sanctions on Rumburg by the member states. With the now ex-Interior Minister Lileas Graf challenging President Anton Rayne following her resignation, a Congress has been called at which members of the USP will determine the party's future leadership. At the Grand National Assembly, both Graf and Rayne will make speeches, after which the votes will be cast. Friday afternoon in the office. Let's read the newspaper first. President's impeachment trial date set. After weeks of preliminary hearings, President Rayne's impeachment trial date has been set. His case will be heard by the Supreme Court, who is really no fan of mine, so... in mid-October, just prior to the elections. Imagine that. Given the president's disgraceful behavior while in office, this day is long overdue. What happened to my media buddy Caranti here? This doesn't seem like he's working his magic. Impeachment witnesses' reliability called into question. Well, okay. As President Rayne's impeachment trial approaches, Swordland today has obtained exclusive reports that cast doubt on the reliability of the so-called witnesses who will be testifying. There is reason to believe that many of the government officials asked to provide evidence against Rayne have personal vendettas against the president or were bribed by Rayne's enemies to give false testimony. This trial is nothing but a sham meant to bring an ignoble end to the best presidency Sordland has ever had. Go Sordland today. The hackiest of hacks speak loudest. Lockhaven Times, Lileas Graf challenges Anton Rayne. And the next president of Sordland is Lileas Graf. Shockwaves ran through the United Sordland Party as the one-time Interior Minister announced her intention to challenge President Rayne for party leadership. A staunch defender of the USP's Solist roots, Graf began the term as a close ally to Rayne but increasingly disagreed with the direction in which the president was taking the party, even though I did a few things that she specifically wanted. So she can kiss my ass. In a party congress to be held at the Grand National Assembly, both Graf and Rayne will have the chance to make speech, blah, blah, blah. President to be dethroned, says the radical. At long last, President Rayne, the most notorious abuser of power since Torkin Sol himself, is set to be impeached for his criminal misdeeds. Let's go back through the, oh, they won't let me. I seem to remember them, frothing at the mouth, praising me a few articles ago. I wonder who these few witnesses are going to be. Workers' Party coming strong. Lecky and his Workers' Party of Bludia is showing great promise according to the latest polls. After Ejal's poisoning, the party has been rising in popularity even in major cities outside of Bergia, such as Lockhaven, Gelsord, and Volgen. In a rally yesterday, Lecky said, "The Bludish force is finally coming to assembly. We are being supported by millions of Swordish, Bludish, and Agno-Swordish citizens. We are coming back. We are coming strong to break the racist structure of this country." Geopolitical. Swordish foreign minister retires. He is not done till the end of my term. David Wisci, Swordland's foreign minister, has announced he will be retiring at the end of President Anton's Rayne's term. The son of Swordland's first president, Wisci has enjoyed a long and fruitful diplomatic career and served as something of a mentor to President Rayne during his student days. The Rayne administration has not yet announced a potential replacement for Mr. Wisci should Rayne be elected to a second term. I haven't announced a replacement for that bitch Carol Baskins either. I mean, Lileas Graf, but, you know. Rumburg possesses nuclear weapons, yep. I should probably pay a little more closer attention to stuff like that, but let's go to Friday afternoon in the office. The door opened and Lucian entered. "Mr. President, there is a problem." And Mr. Beniwoll wants to speak with you. That's this guy. Pascal Beniwoll is an author and Swordish government official who serves as the Minister of Health. He's going to quit too. You watch. He's in the White Room. Please follow me. We started walking. Do you know what this is about? I was just told to come and get you, sir. I opened the doors and we entered the White Room. I looked around. Pascal looked incredibly stressed. He wiped off his sweat. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm here to let you know that I will be handing you my resignation shortly. Told you. The resignation? What's the meaning of this? Exactly what it looks like. I'm resigning from my position in the cabinet. I simply cannot go on anymore after what happened. Talk to me. What can I do? How can I help you better? I'm sorry, but I've already made my decision and I won't turn back from it. I suppose I owe you my reasons. It would be nice. Even though you acted against the epidemic, which saved millions of swords, I cannot and will not stand with your abuse of power. The things you did behind closed doors shook me to my bones when the news came to my knowledge. You may have your reasons, Mr. President, that it is for the greater good. But the same line of reasoning will simply lead to more atrocious actions. I will hand you my resignation once our term is done, Mr. President. I took a deep breath. I looked at Pascal's determined face. I have no choice but to accept your resignation. Or I could be a dick, which I'm not going to be. And off they go. Pascal Beniwoll, Codex updated. Fantastic. Oh, here we go. Let's read this. Future of Rayne's cabinet. Following last week's resignation from the cabinet, eyes turned to President Rayne as his term is approaching its end. No selection for the vacant seat have been announced yet. However, the timing bears some questions about the stability of the administration. This is, without a doubt, going to have an impact on the elections as President Rayne is gearing up towards his possible second term. All right, let's get to this meeting. Make a nice speech, win some hearts and minds. Shut down that bitch, Lileas Graf. It was the day of the United Sordland Party Congress. For the third time in the party and Sordland's history, a candidate was challenging an incumbent president. It seems like it's a regular thing, since there haven't really been that many more than 3 presidents, and what am I, number 4? I think I'm number 4. So basically it happens all the time. They're acting like this is some type of precedent. Serge was driving me to the Grand National Assembly for the historic event. I looked out the windows as we passed through the small forest dividing the Maroon Palace and the Assembly. I thought about the day I announced my candidacy against Ewald Alfonso when he was still president. Then I remembered how, just a few years before that, Ewald had challenged Tarkin Sol. How are you feeling back there, sir? I'm okay, Serge. How are you? I'm as good as I can be, sir. I'm going to hire him when I leave office, just to hang out with. Have a beer. Serge made a left turn out of the forest and entered the vast garden area of the Assembly. I still don't believe how Miss Graf could run against you. She owed her position to you. Some people have no respect or gratitude. Honestly, she doesn't owe me anything. I only picked her to get the conservative support. She can do as she pleases. Doesn't matter. Of course, sir, it's not like she has a chance against you. No. You got 1 vote at least. He parked the car in front of the gates that led to the USP's wing of the Assembly. Good luck, Mr. President. See you on the way back. See you on the way back, buddy. I entered the building and joined the crowd of influential politicians, lobbyists, and benefactors who had gathered for this turning point. It was almost time for the debate. The crowd dispersed and members of the USP went inside the Congress Hall. United Sordland banners hung from every possible spot. I tried to mentally prepare for my speech, but the lingering memories from the first 2 leadership races were making it hard for me to focus. As if on cue, Lileas strode past me into the hall, accompanied by a large group of her supporters. Instead of her usual beige, she wore a sun-yellow skirt and blazer. Gloria Torre was on her right. Then I noticed Pascal. Even he seemed to be throwing his support behind Lileas now. I tried to ignore them as I entered the hall. I took a seat next to Elbin and waited for the session to begin. Mr. President, let's get this race over with, shall we? Chipper guy? Let's do this. I should have gone with, how are you feeling about the vote? Kind of feel him out. Well, okay, I believe in you, Mr. President. If you can remind them who you are, you will win the day. Of course I will. Look, it's starting. He pointed at the podium. Lucian was there. He was about to introduce the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, the hall fell silent when he started speaking. We gather here today in the 28th Congress of the United Sordland Party for the third leadership race in its history. On the occasion of my 20th year in this party, I am honored to be opening this historic session today. The members of the USP will soon be voting on whether President Rayne or Lileas Graf shall assume leadership going forward. Before we begin the selection process, I would like to invite both candidates to give very short speeches. First, I would like to invite Anton Rayne, the fourth president of Swordland and the chairman of our party. I stood up and walked to the podium amid applause and campaign music. I shook his hand before I began addressing the party. Thank you, Lucian. Fellow members of the USP, together we have achieved a lot in the past 4 years. In spite of your obstructionism, I did my best and we got some shit done. Okay, I did my best in order to make Swordland a better place. I know that our term could have gone better. I took office to bring reform to this country. I took on the responsibility to fix our Constitution, where people wanted reforms from us, so we did our best to deliver. But Lileas Graf and the old guard stood in our way. Yet they did not want me to succeed, and together we tried to resist the establishment. I am kind of the establishment, my party anyway. Lileas Graf and the old guard stood in our way, that's very true. But I'm here to do more, to bring meaningful change. But I believe if we stand together, nobody can stop us. There we go. Meaningful change. We can't let Miss Graf take the helm of our ship. Help me continue our fight to make this country great. I promise you I will not let you down. Help me continue my fight. I'm trying to include them in, see, like, everything is us and not just me, because I think that might go over better. I promise to bring the recession under control in no time. What I have achieved in my first term cannot be denied. Do not fall to Miss Graf's lies. She betrayed our trust by leaving a very important office. I don't believe Miss Graf can provide any alternative. Miss Graf is a puppet of Tarkin Soul and the Old Guard. Do you want me to give control of this party to a woman who ran away from her duties? That might get me in hot water with my wife. But it might just... I don't know if I should say that. We'll go with the puppet one. Elect me again so we can continue our great transformation. Hey, Morgana West Corps. Campaign music started blaring again as I left the podium. Lucian shook my hand again as I walked back to my seat to the sound of loud applause. I sat back down next to Albin. Not a bad speech, Mr. President. Lucian spoke from the podium again. Thank you again for your speech, Mr. President. Now I'd like to invite the next candidate to the stage. She is one of the most experienced and respected members of this party. We all know her from her accomplishments in Arbory and Wholesword. Why is he playing her up like this? And of course, I've had the personal pleasure of working with her in this administration. But I'd like to take this opportunity to endorse her candidacy. Lucian, you dick! I urge all of you to vote for her, the future first... Oh my god. You dick. Elwin turned to me with a sympathetic look. I always knew he was a prick. He does kind of look like one. I mean, I will admit. Oh, that goddamn traitor, he didn't say a word to me about this. That slippery bastard, I knew he couldn't be trusted. Let's welcome the former Interior Minister of Sordland, Lileas Graf. The hall started applauding. Lileas walked up to the podium accompanied by an old nationalist song about the sort of Civil War. Her eyes had a fire in them that I've never seen before. Fellow compatriots, it is an honor to be a candidate for the leadership of our great United Sordland Party. She pulled out a handkerchief and dabbed at her eyes. Forgive me, this beautiful song always fills me with emotion. She had better choices for her speech than I did, obviously. My opponent might call that a weakness. I consider it a strength. It brings me hope to see all the energy in this Congress Hall today. But hope alone does not suffice. I don't want to listen to songs any longer. I want us to sing them from the rooftops. What is it that you want, sons and daughters of Swordland? I'll tell you right now. You want a president who treats his office with the respect it deserves. You want a president who will stand bravely against the wealthy elites in their mansions rather than kowtow to their every demand. You want a Swordland that respects its culture and founding values, which I know a lot of people would say you don't belong in the high office just because of, you want a strong and united Swordland. And I'm here to tell you that none of these things are possible as long as Anton Rayne is in office. As those who rule the state become more and more alienated from the values that make us who we are, and the deplorables who stand silent against this sink us deeper into a quagmire of moral and cultural corruption. He tore his own wife away from her rightful place at home. What? And forced her into politics in the name of women's liberation. That was her choice. And he did all of that without even managing to fix the recession. It's all green. It is all green. What are you talking about? Swedish people are still suffering. He's a disgrace to the name of Tarkin Soul. We cannot allow him to taint the accomplishments of this party any further. Screw you, Lileas. Don't worry, let her say what she wants. The results won't change. After nearly 4 years of the president behaving abominably against all of my advice, I took your advice. When it made sense, I took your advice, you bitch. I had no choice but to tender my resignation, for I believed we could achieve much more. I'm actually getting kind of pissed off about this, for I still believe this is why I don't get into politics in real life, and I don't really like people. I appeal to your innate sense of honor and dignity as Swedish people. Elect me as your leader, and I promise that with the Lord on my side, I shall have try that again. I shall elevate this party and this glorious nation to the heavens. I'm pissed. Mr. Rayne, your time leading this country is through. I am here to bring down the walls you built. Thank you. A. Morgana West Court. Do nothing. Voting began. I filled out my ballot, making an X next to my own name, and lined up to drop it in the ballot box. I heard Lucian's voice behind me. Sir, fuck off. What do you want? I'm sorry, sir. It had to be done. I assure you it's nothing personal. My loyalty is to the party and Swordland. Fuck off. What did she offer you? Vice presidency. It's what he's wanted all along. There we go. No need to get upset, sir. Oh, bullshit. Well, nothing's set in stone until we see the results. You better hope she wins. Good luck. We should just assassinate people. Have this Gestapo come in and do something about them or something. I'm mad. A text-based video game should not have me this heated. He turned his back and walked away. After all the votes were cast, we sat back down and waited for the announcement. After some time, Lucian appeared on the stage again. Thank you, everyone, for voting today. The results are ready. After counting every vote, we have come to the conclusion. The winner of today's leadership vote, time to cut to a commercial just like MasterChef in Hell's Kitchen, is determined to be Lileas Graf. Fuck. The hall reverberated with thunderous applause. I congratulate our new leader and our next candidate for president. I couldn't believe it. For a moment, my sight darkened. All I heard was the shouting, Lileas, Lileas. Are you okay, Mr. President? I need a moment. I sank down in my seat and sighed deeply. Sorry you didn't get to be vice president for longer. It's an honor just to have been chosen. I'll announce my resignation now? No. Nope. I guess all that change you hope for will have to wait. I still believe we can work together. For what? What's the point? Alright. It'll have to wait. As long as the USP is in power, yes. I'd say my days with the party are numbered. You can't... What do you plan on doing? I will start my own party and run for president again. I will endorse the Lileas and continue my membership in the USP. Nothing is over yet. Well, this is giving me several interesting options. I will go full-blown Teddy Roosevelt. Who was the other president that started his own party? I don't remember. I will continue in politics in another party. Screw the USP. On second thought, I can't see myself joining any other party. People's and Freedom and Justice Party. What the hell? I wonder what the vote tally was. I can't see myself joining any other party. I will start my own party and run for president again. Okay, I'll start my own party for run. I'll call it the Liberal Party. Democrat Party of Sordland. Maroon Party. Swordish Prosperity Party. There we go. We'll call it that. I'll do my best to make sure Lileas doesn't become president. Let's see how this goes. Interesting indeed, Mr. President, but you'll be on your own with that. I don't think I'm ready to switch parties. Somehow I expected that I'd be alone in this. Wasn't sure if my plan would even succeed. I thought back on my many years in the USP, then I thought about the future. I need to plan my next steps. Wow. Well, that sucks. Dinner at home. Let's read the newspapers. This is going to be fun. Rayne stabs USP in back. Founds Swordish Prosperity Party. Well, how about the USP stabbing me in the back? What a shocking turn of events. Handed his hat by Lileas Graf during the USP Party Congress, President Rayne abruptly announced he would continue his presidential run under the banner of a new party which has no hope of winning. The Swordish Prosperity Party appears to have been created for the sole purpose of supporting a Rayne run. It's doubtful Rayne's vague platform will convert long-time USP members, but his sheer charisma might sway undecided voters his side. More on this as it develops. Graf victorious at USP Congress. Lileas Graf steals vote. At the USP Party Congress, power-mad spinster Lileas Graf lied and cheated her way into grabbing a majority of member votes. Despite the results clearly being illegitimate, the rest of the party is going along with Graf's charade and will be putting her forward as the presidential candidate in the next election. Our sympathies lie with President Anton Rayne, who gave an inspiring speech at the Congress and in a fair world would be running for re-election. Rayne breaks from old guard, runs as independent. Now they're back to praising me. We're cautiously optimistic about this. After Lileas Graf successfully challenged his USP leadership, Anton Rayne announced the formation of his own party. He'll now be taking on Graf as a member of the Swordish Prosperity Party. While his new platform appears vague for now, anyone who would prevent soulish figurehead Graf from seizing control of the Swordish government has got our vote. It took courage for President Rayne to separate himself from the forces who have held power in the Maroon Palace for so long. Let's hope it sticks. Let's have some dinner. With my impeachment trial looming, I'd practically been sleeping at the Maroon Palace lately. But tonight, I made a deliberate effort to get home early. I told Monica and Deanna I wanted a family supper just like in the old days. I should have just retired. Now with this. Monica had promised to cook something special. I didn't know if it was my imagination, but there seemed to be more guards outside my complex than usual. I hurried past them, went inside, and locked the front door behind me. I heard footsteps coming my way. Hi, Papa. Hug her. How was school today? She shrugged. Where's your mother? Well, I won a prize at the handicraft fair. Mama didn't seem to care that much, though. She's just jealous because she was always bad at sewing. Well, I care. She smiles. Mama's in there. I've got to do some homework before dinner. I followed her with my eyes as she went upstairs. She was starting to look more and more like her mother. I stepped into the kitchen. Monica was stirring a pot on the stove, her back turned to me. Hug her from behind. She screamed and dropped her ladle. Well, that blew up in my face. When she realized it was me, she smiled and gave me a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, Anton, I guess I've been on edge lately. Why don't you go fix yourself a drink in the living room? I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat down in the living room, poured myself a bit of whiskey, and flipped through one of Monica's women's magazines. Deanna came rushing back down the stairs and made a beeline for the coffee table. She picked up her pencil case. Almost forgot that. Frank never took his studies seriously. What do you hear from your brother these days? Not much. He doesn't call as often now that he's got a girlfriend. Papa, is it true how he got into whole sword state? Would you do that for me too? I don't remember what I did. Something nefarious. Just keep studying so we'll never have to find out. Monica appeared in the doorway. She smiled at the two of us. Dinner's ready. Besides, I'm not going to be president for very much longer, so there goes all my influence. What kind of job am I going to do when I get voted out of office? I don't know, maybe I'll buy a chain of Olive Gardens or something. The three of us gathered around the dining room table. Monica ladled out bowls full of zambla. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Now that we're all here, I wanted to say something. I know the past 4 years have been hard on us. The past 4 years have tested our strength as a family. I was so busy focusing on the needs of Swordish people that I sometimes forget about Swordish's most important people, my own wife and daughter. I'm so proud of us for getting through this together. We deserve some time off as a family. Monica's eyes were shining. But right now, there's no time. We need to get out of Sordland, all of us. Okay. And we'll have plenty of time. Once the election's over, I'm taking you both on a holiday. You already know I'm not going to win. You sighed heavily. Anton, I think you should quit politics. Not just drop out of the election. Retire. I've been having similar thoughts. With everything that's happening, I don't think you belong in government. And every day you stay there gives your opponents more chances to smear your reputation and ours. They've been making fun of me at school because of you, Papa. You being president, it hasn't been easy on any of us. Maybe we could go back to the way things were before. Well, this one's going to take some thought. Oh, should I retire or should I keep going? I'll retire. You've made your point. I'll retire. Monica gave me a look of gratitude. I think it's for the best. Deanna still looked confused. Does that mean we're not going to live here anymore? Oh, we're getting as far away from Whole Sword as possible. We could stay here, but we don't have to. We can do whatever I want. I think I just retired right now. As I spoke, I felt like a weight was lifting off my shoulders. I knew I'd made the right choice. I'm still going to keep fighting for women's rights no matter who wins the election. And I won't stop fighting for the causes I believe in, too, from a distance. I'm going to take up farming or something? Okay. Monica smiled and I smiled. Cool. It'll be an adventure. Can we finish dinner now? There you go. The three of us dug into our food and started talking about what we'd do once I was no longer president. When we were done, I went up to my study and started drafting my retirement speech. Wow. I think I'm retiring right now. Well, shit. See what happens here. Sometime later. Apparently quite some time later. Alright, here we go. No news to read of. Let's see what this is. Impeachment trial of Anton Rayne. I am not getting into that right now. I'm going to call this episode. It's been kind of overly disappointing here. I really wasn't expecting Lileas Graf to take that vote, but I wonder how the story plays out after this. I guess we'll have to find out in the next episode. Anyway, if you like this one, hit that like button. If you would like to follow along through the rest of this playthrough, the For the People playthrough, for whatever time we have left, hit the subscribe button. I do have a couple more ideas in mind for Suzerain on my channel, so you might want to subscribe so you don't miss out on them if you're a fan of this game. I am quite a fan of this game, actually. Thoughts, tips, and advice in the comment section below. Any ideas for my next playthrough? I'm going to do a For the State playthrough where I focus mostly on Anton's personal power and the power of the state. And I'm going to be doing a just for fun playthrough called the douchebag playthrough, where I'm going to pick the worst option available out of all the choices that I'm given every single time. So we'll see how that one goes. If you have any ideas as to something else, feel free to let me know. Other than that, that's all we're doing for today. We will see you for the next episode and our impeachment trial. That ought to be fun. J76NY saying thank you very much for watching and have yourself a very good day.